we go. Hold on. Okay, this, and then... I think... Let's see if we're live. I think we are live. Yeah, we're live. I believe so. Nice, how we expected it. Let's go. What up?
He's out, so don't even think about having Julio Jones this week.
Yeah, Julio is a bust. At this point, I'm not feeling Julio. He's got to go. Take him out of your lineup now. All right. Oh, we got 3 viewers. All right, here we go. Sweet. Perfect.
All right, yeah. So again, let's see. We had some questions about. Let's start with a small state big takes asked by Steve himself, which is for me.
Yep.
Steve's trying to figure out his flex situation for today. Should he go Joshua Kelly, Malcolm Brown, or Darrell Henderson? That's a tough one, just because I don't really like any of the Rams running backs. We talked about that this past week, Steve. Just not really a huge fan of the Rams running back situation.
Right.
So I kind of go Kelly there. I sort of lean Kelly on that one.
Let me see who I have.
For you?
Yeah, I'm thinking Kelly too. Kelly got a lot of carries last week. That's the thing. I think they're thinking he's going to be the featured back at some point. Sorry to Oliver, who's watching right now, but Austin Eckler, he's on the outs, man. I'm sorry. That's the way it is.
Yep. I don't know. I liked Austin Eckler last week. He had a good week. I think they can almost like coexist together just because they're different, players. So I kind of like it. I for some reason, usually that's not a very good answer, but I sort of like it. So, but I go Josh Kelly just because, like I said, you could end up being wrong, and Malcolm Brown has a ton of carries, or Darrell Henderson gets a ton of touches, but like we don't know week to week who's going to get what. So that's just that's the reality.
Oh.
LA Rams. Wrong button. I'm trying to go tap to tap here, and I'm going in and out. So yeah, let's see. Our own one of our own fearless leaders here, Al Nahigian, wants to know should he go with Patrick Mahomes against Baltimore or Josh Allen against the LA Rams? And he's asking you, Steve, to please try and take your bias out of that if it is possible. What do you got on Mahomes on Monday night against the Ravens, or Josh Allen in LA to take on the Rams?
Oh, man, that's tough. It's tough without being biased because I am one biased son of a bitch. But I am going to have to roll with Mahomes here, obviously. Actually, it's not that obvious, though, because I think Josh Allen's still going to light up the scoreboard today. I'm starting him in 2 leagues. But I don't know. As long as you have Mahomes, you gotta roll with Mahomes. That's just the way it is, regardless of the defense. I think, Al, you got to just roll with Mahomes. Unfortunately, it hurts me to say this to you, but just go with Mahomes. And you know what? If Josh Allen does do well, I'll be rubbing it in your face.
I was gonna say I kind of feel like it's I don't that's a really tough one though for Al. That's not just a straight up like, hey, this is the easy answer. Because the Rams defense is really good. You have Jalen Ramsey, who's probably going to be taking away Stephon Diggs for most of the day, and that's been Josh Allen's favorite target,
Yep.
As expected. And then you got Aaron Donald up front, and Aaron Donald is just a terrifying individual to go up against. But the Ravens defense is really not anything to laugh at or slouch. I mean, they maybe don't have quite the same all-star all-pro names as the Rams do, but I mean, the Ravens defense is really good. So that's kind of a tough one for me where I think you're not wrong going either way, just because of how Allen has played this year and how good we already know Mahomes is. But I'd probably lean a little bit more on Mahomes. I'm with you there, just because he's the more known product, you know, and Josh Allen has had a couple of great weeks, but albeit against the Jets and Dolphins. So this will be his really true first test. I would say sit Allen this week in favor of Mahomes, but rolling into the following weeks, if Allen plays really well against the Rams here today, am I going out on a limb? Am I an idiot for saying Mahomes might be on your trading block?
I'm all about that, dude. I would gladly roll with Josh Allen if I could. And shout out to Al for having both those quarterbacks, two of the best quarterbacks in my opinion in the whole fucking league. I mean, top 3,
yeah,
guaranteed. So yeah, you can't go wrong with either. But yeah, roll with Mahomes until he craps out or until you trade him, and definitely try to trade him if you can. I'd max out if I had Josh Allen. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah.
I was going to say, I think if Allen has another great performance today against that Rams defense, then I think we can say, okay, the dude's for real. It wasn't just beating up on the Dolphins and Jets. He's actually pretty legit. And I think that would, because, I mean, Josh Allen in a trade is going to get you, like, what, a flex running back? People don't truly believe in him. You throw Mahomes out there, all of a sudden you're getting some big-time offers coming back at you, like a big-time wide receiver, running back, something like that. So, I don't know. We'll see. All right, Oliver, we will get to your damn questions here. Jesus Christmas.
Okay, Ollie, you son of a bitch.
I'm trying to get through all the Twitter ones we had before, but, you know, fine. We'll answer them now. So, Oliver starting off with Gage, the Falcons receiver, or Jerry Jeudy of the Denver Broncos. What do you got on there, Steve? Personally, I kind of go Gage if there's no Julio Jones today.
Absolutely. I'm going Gage anywhere I can today. Gage is the ultimate flex guy, if not wide receiver 2 for me today without Julio. Gage already looked great, so I'm into him. And I'm not really positive about Jeudy with Jeff Driscoll, even though I do like Driscoll on the Broncos. But in the post-Drew Lock era this year, not feeling it. Gage all the way if you can.
Yeah, I'm with you. I go Gage there as well. Just because, I mean, even with Julio Jones last week, he had, you know, more catches and yards than Julio did. So without Julio, I mean, and if you have Calvin Ridley, you're licking your chops right now, because it's going to be a fun day for Calvin Ridley owners.
Hey, speaking of which, I just want to jump in there too. Our friend of the program, Mo Chanel, had a question: Ty or Russell Gage? And I fucking jumped in. It wasn't even Alex. I just jumped in on that Twitter thing. But I'd happily.
It's Gage today. Yeah.
Gage, yeah. Plus Ty's burnt anyway.
Well, see, here's the thing with Ty, and everyone's like freaking out just because it's a brand new quarterback and in Phillip Rivers, and nobody knows what you're getting exactly. But Ty is also that guy where he will like just be completely quiet for 2-3 weeks, and then completely out of nowhere, Ty goes off for like 22 points. So he's just one of those guys, and he'll do it on your bench because you're like, all right, it's been 2 weeks in a row of this guy doing absolute jack shit for me.
Yep.
I'm done with him. You put him on your bench, and then he reminds you, hey, I'm T.Y. Hilton with 180 yards and a touchdown. So that's just sort of, I don't know, that's T.Y. Hilton to a T. And Oliver asked the same thing, where I guess his is a little closer. Brandon Cooks or T.Y. Hilton today? Because Cooks, from what I have seen, has he really done much in Houston? I mean, Houston as a team itself has not done anything.
It's true.
Granted, they went up against the Chiefs and Ravens. This is tough of a start to a season as you're going to find, but still, they haven't done anything.
True, but you know what though? I kind of feel Cooks there. I kind of like Cooks better. Ty, I am done with personally. I don't want to own him in any leagues. I don't. Matter of fact, I don't think I ever have. But that's beside the point. Just Ty, no thanks. I'm into. I think that Watson and Cooks will hook up at some point. I think I like Cooks there. That's my opinion.
Last week, 5 catches, 95 yards on 8 targets for Brandon Cooks, which, I mean, he obviously got some looks from Deshaun Watson. It doesn't, again, for Houston, this is as rough of a start of the season as you can find, at least on the offensive side of things, because they go up against Pittsburgh today on the road, and right. The Steelers' defense is really damn good. So they're kind of, I don't know, Brandon Cooks is a tough draw, but it's up to you, Oliver. I mean, that could be you could either get 2 points from each of those guys and get just absolutely nothing, or you end up getting 22 points out of either one. That's just kind of how both of them are. So they're very volatile players. Gilly getting in on the action. He wants to know Mark Andrews on Monday night against Kansas City or Noah Fant against Tampa Bay in a PPR league. That's a tough one because Andrews is still Lamar Jackson's favorite red zone target, but Noah Fant has been having an incredible start to the season, as some of us had predicted.
This is true. I don't know. I'm either way here. I mean, you have 2 of the top tight ends, so I think you're going to be all right, but I still lean Mark Andrews. I think Mark Andrews is still my favorite tight end in the league. Sorry, Travis Kelce, Gilly, I know you love him, but I mean, if you're leaning Fant though, I wouldn't hate on it. I think that Fant is. I think Fant's pretty good. I think he looked fantastic last week. My God, and you know Jeff Driscoll's going to be throwing to him quite a bit. That's just going to be his main target. Yep.
That's the thing I'm kind of going off of is that Fant, even when Drew Lock went down, Jeff Driscoll is still looking his way.
Right.
So I'm actually kind of leaning Fant here because Mark Andrews, he can put up big numbers, but we talked about it. It was a lot based off of touchdowns. You know, he doesn't do a lot in terms of like moving the ball up and down the field for the Ravens. He's more so if he doesn't get a couple of with Houston, whereas Fant, now he scored a touchdown in each of his first 2 games, so that obviously inflates his numbers a little bit. And Tampa Bay, surprisingly, actually has a good defense this year. Not many people imagine that, but I'd probably lean Fant just because he's getting a more consistent production. And I think Fant's turning into probably the more reliable guy than Andrews. Andrews some weeks might still outscore Fant, and you might hate having him on your bench when he puts out like 20 points because he's caught 2 touchdown passes, but that's just for the reliable guy. I think you roll Fant.
Wow. I was going to say the opposite kind of thing. I think that Andrews would be the guy that I would be okay with getting like a 7-point kind of, outing. I think Fant's more of the I think Fant's going to do well. But I think Fant probably has a higher ceiling. But I still roll with Andrews. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Who's next here?
That's fair. Whatever. That's okay. That's fair.
Yeah, sure.
Oliver wants to know Jared McKinnon or Mike Davis, 2 of the guys that are kind of taking over for injuries right now. McKinnon with the Niners, and they have Mullen rolling today, so they're going to run the football a lot. And then Mike Davis, who's taking over for Christian McCaffrey. I had a brain fart there. I couldn't remember who the hell the top running back in the entire league was. But if I'm choosing between those 2, honestly, I'm kind of going McKinnon. Just because I think the Panthers now without McCaffrey just simply rely on the arm of Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think they run the ball too much. I think they're just going to say, Teddy, it's your game. Go out there and sling it. And whereas the Niners are going to say, okay, Mullen sucks. We're going to stick with it on the ground because that's our strength anyways, even with Jimmy Garoppolo healthy. So I'm going. I go McKinnon over Davis on this one.
Yeah, I'm with McKinnon too for sure. Mike Davis, I don't know much about him, and I never really trust the Panthers running backs anyway. Remember Fozzie Whitaker? Remember when that was a thing? Like,
right?
Who are these people? Cameron Artis-Payne. I mean, people they come and they go in Carolina. I would take McKinnon. I like McKinnon too. I like his game. That guy can run hard. Yeah, and this week with Mullins under center, they're going to be pounding him. He's trustworthy. Yeah. I like him. McKinnon would be a good flex guy, in my opinion.
Yep, and no Tevin Coleman. And McKinnon's put up 30 or 13 points in PPR the last 2 straight weeks. So not sure if that's a standard league there for you, Oliver. But either way, it's I say McKinnon's the more reliable bet there, just because that's the Niners' entire. Their entire identity is running the football.
Exactly.
We do have a Twitter question from @OMotiz, OMOTIZ. I don't know if that's like Oliver's burner or not,
Gotta be.
He wants to know pick 2, Odell Beckham Jr., Desean Jackson, Juju, or Keenan Allen. Out of those 4, who are you picking?
I'm taking Odell and Juju.
Really?
Yeah. Or you know what? Well, definitely Odell. What was the second guy you said? Remember Keenan Allen?
The second guy was Desean Jackson.
All right, not Deshaun, because Carson Wentz is a loser.
Yeah.
It's between Keenan Allen and Juju, but I still roll with Juju because I don't know what's going on with the Chargers. I don't really like the whole Justin Herbert, Tyrod Taylor bullshit. Yeah, Odell's, I'm rolling with him in my league. I don't love him to death, but whatever. But yeah, Juju's more reliable in my opinion. Even though he's been a dud so far, I still would be more confident with him than Keenan with whatever's going on.
That one's a tough. I say Juju's the easy choice there, just because he's been really good this year. Deontay Johnson has even kind of gotten into his target share a little bit, and it hasn't really affected either one of them. Big Ben's basically throwing it to just 2 people when he drops back to throw. So I'm fine with keeping Juju. I think he's your number 1 pick there. My question is kind of between Odell Beckham Jr. and Keenan Allen, and that's a tough one because they're both kind of the same player. They had a tough week 1. They bounced back in week 2. And going into week 3, Keenan Allen has the Carolina Panthers, whereas OBJ has the Washington football team. So it's sort of like an easy matchup defensively between the 2 of them. But I will say the difference, I think, is didn't OBJ have he had like 1 big catch last week, and that's what kind of floated his numbers the way they did.
Yeah. True.
I had 7 catches, 96 yards. This is for Keenan Allen. I'm looking up for something. I clicked on OBJ's name and it said Keenan Allen. 4 catches for 74 and a touchdown. I kind of roll Keenan Allen just because I like him better. Wow. He gets more targets. He gets more catches. Odell Beckham is very reliant on the big play, not so much just standard production. So I go with Keenan Allen and Juju there personally.
Keenan Allen and Juju. All right, so we both agree on Juju, but Odell versus who's the other one? Sorry.
Odell and Desean Jackson. You just keep forgetting about Desean.
Desean is out of my mind. And speaking of which, we have another question here from a guy. See this one? Ethan C?
Yeah. Ethan C. Thanks for tuning in. What's up, dude? He says pick a wide receiver and in 1 full flex for a full PPR. Robert Woods, Darius Slayton, Desean Jackson, Kareem Hunt, and, of course, our boy Joshua Kelly that Steve was asking about earlier. So, Jake, we'll get to you in a second. Just calm down.
Jake.
We happy birthday, by the way.
Damn it. Sorry, Jake. 1 second, Jake.
We'll get to your tight end question. That's kind of an easy one in my mind. But So pick one wide receiver. It's Robert Woods for me. That's an easy one. Robert Woods is absolutely – he's incredibly reliable. He's ridiculously reliable. He's not a sexy name. Like, for some reason, for a wide receiver playing for a team in Los Angeles, Robert Woods is just not a sexy name. I don't know why, how he's not a superstar already. But start Robert Woods. Don't even think about it twice. That's an easy choice there.
Agreed.
And as for the flex, I'm kind of torn between one of those two running backs. I don't trust, like Steve said, Carson Wentz enough for Desean Jackson. I would love to say I trust Daniel Jones enough for Darius Slayton, but he's let me down this year.
Finally wizened up.
So it's kind of between Hunt and Kelly. I want to lean Kareem Hunt here because the Browns have shown that they're willing to very much kind of go with the two running backs, and it's worked for them. At least last week, it worked for them against the Bengals. This week, they have the football team, the Washington football team. So, but they have a good D line. I don't know. That's tough, Steve. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm rolling with Kelly, just because.
You know what? Yeah, I'm going Kelly. You're right.
Yeah. You know what? This is a good week for Josh Kelly. You know what? It's just Josh Kelly time. You know what? If it works out, cool. If not, I'm sorry. And you know what? I'm going down with the ship with you. So, Ethan C., you and I, let's start Josh Kelly, and let's regroup next week. You can tell me off, or we can celebrate some Josh Kelly love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
So, okay. You know what? You're right, because Kareem Hunt going up against that Washington football team's defensive line with Chase Young, impossible.
Yeah, sure.
Joshua Kelly going up against Carolina Panthers team, much better option there.
Definitely.
Yeah, Eckler might end up being the star, but I think it's a safer play to go with Joshua Kelly as your flex option there. So Robert Woods, Joshua Kelly is what I would go with. All right, Jake, we'll get to yours here. Jonnu Smith or Darren Waller at tight end this week. I think this is an easy choice. Yes, Darren Waller had a great game against the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football, but I think the easy answer is Jonnu Smith, just because Waller's going up against the Patriots, and New England is not going to let Darren Waller, of all people, beat them. They're going to say, absolutely not. They're going to put Adrian Phillips on him, or Kyle Duggar, or Joejuan Williams, who did against Mike Gesicki in Week 1 for the Miami Dolphins, and say, go find someone else to throw the football to, Derek Carr. So I'm going Jonnu Smith. I think that's an easy choice. And obviously Ryan Tannehill loves him. So I'd say Jonnu.
You know what? That's tough for me. I'm leading Jonnu for sure, but it's not that obvious to me. Derek Carr really pounds at Darren Waller. Darren Waller is the Raiders, man. He is. It's Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller's team. I don't know. I wouldn't hate on starting Darren Waller. But Jonnu has been breaking out to the maximum. Yeah.
I even added Jonnu to my roster, one of my teams this past week, and I'm starting him over a question that Patrick Schofield just asked us about tight ends, and he asked about TJ Hawkinson or Darren Waller. I'm having Jonnu Smith start over TJ Hawkinson, if that helps answer your question even more. I'm buying fully in on Jonnu Smith, and I love TJ Hawkinson. I think the dude's legit.
Me too.
He's been getting a ton of looks from Matthew Stafford, but until Jonnu Smith has a couple of weeks where he just doesn't do anything at all, you got to roll with them. And like I said, the Patriots. If it was any other team today, I'm rolling with Darren Waller with you. Or Darren Waller's a closer idea than Jonnu Smith, but the Patriots are going to take him away. There's no doubt about that.
This is true. And Jake Morocco has a good point here. He's playing Oliver, so he doesn't know if he can go with his advice, and that's a good thing to say here because it's true. You can never trust Oliver's advice when you play against him.
Yeah, I was going to say Oliver went real quick and said Waller for sure, Jake. So yeah, no, that's you can't go with that. So
absolute bullshit. Nice try, Oliver. Trying to pull a fast one.
Yeah, good try there, Ollie. But no, I mean Hawkinson's been good too. He's caught every single ball that's been thrown to him this year, so that's a positive thing. Now, in terms of looking at how many targets he's gotten, 4 and 5 in the last 2 respective weeks, not great, but he's going up against Arizona today. Hawkinson's not a terrible play, but I would say Jonnu Smith, and you wouldn't be wrong or ridiculed, I think, there, Patrick, if you played Jonnu Smith and it didn't work out. Everyone's playing him. Like I said, I'm playing him. It's just what it is. And if he doesn't work out, then he doesn't work out, and you go at that the next week. But until the streak runs out, keep riding it. That's what I'd say.
I like it, yeah. All right, what else?
And especially against Minnesota. Because that did worry me. They have a good defense, but their defense looks good against tight ends because Green Bay week 1 they gave up 1 catch for 12 yards, but Green Bay just doesn't even use their tight end. Whereas last week for Indianapolis, and who is their tight end? It's not Ebron anymore. I have no idea.
Mo Cox. Shout out freaking is Mo Alley Cox, the former basketball player.
Oh, okay, yeah. There you go.
Hell yeah. He's good.
So Mo Alley Cox, 5 catches for 111 yards. He was ridiculous last week. So Minnesota's got some issues to fix. Hashtag, though, don't fire Mike Zimmer just yet, Jacob. And, so.
I agree.
Patrick, again, wants to know, though, if he does he think it's worth to risk playing Waller for the chance or against that Patriots defense that they can't shut him down. I know he had a great game last week, Patrick, but that was the Saints, and they're supposed to have a good defense, I know. But I don't know. I just don't trust anyone going up against the Patriots knowing – and you could be right. The Patriots might look at it and say, Darren Waller Belichick is going to zig when we zag. I'm sitting here saying they're going to shut down Waller. Belichick might, the genius of him might be like, actually, we're going to leave Darren Waller wide open all day. And we're going to cover Henry Ruggs with Stephon Gilmore and double team him all the way down the field. I don't know. That could very well be the case. But I'm guessing that they're probably going to put the tight end, Patrick Chung, almost the Aqib Talib equivalent, the tight end masker on him. Joanne Williams, Kyle Duggar, Adrian Phillips, one of those 3 guys to cover Waller all day today. They're going to make it a big point to make sure he doesn't do anything. So,
yeah. You know what, though? I can see it happening. You never know. Oliver just said Ruggs is out today. That's true.
Oh, okay. Well, then no Ruggs. There you go.
No Ruggs. Who's the receivers? Who do they have?
Ruggs, and then I want to say they have one guy that's always surprisingly good in Madden.
Shit.
Yeah, let's look. Let's take a look at who the Raiders have. Because you know what? In that case, Derek Carr might just be force feeding the ball to Darren Waller, but I still don't trust it. That's me.
I do trust it.
If you have nobody else, then yes, Darren Waller's your play. But if you have someone as quality as T.J. Hawkinson, then you're fine. So actually, Ruggs is out. So Hunter Renfrow and Nelson Aguilar are their top 2 wide receivers now.
Zay Jones, there you go. Aguilar.
Yeah, so they are going to force the ball to Waller. But like I said, if you didn't have anybody else, then I would go with Waller. But if you have a very quality player in T.J. Hawkinson behind him,
so you're going full blown Hawkinson right now.
I am. I like Hawkinson. I really like T.J. Hawkinson. But and if that's the case, then Patrick, I don't think you're wrong in starting Waller. And that's where I think if you roll with it and say, I don't think the Patriots can get it done, because it is week 3. Let's remember that. Everyone's upset that the Patriots sucked against Seattle defensively last week. 1, the Patriots have never played well against Russell Wilson. And 2, the first 4 weeks, Belichick treats his preseason anyways. So the defense has never been exactly quite right the first 4 weeks of the season. So I'll leave it up to your discretion there, Patrick. Personally, I would still lean Hawkinson, but you would not be 100% wrong in starting Waller.
I'm sorry, Connor, but I'm gonna go 75% Waller here. How about that? I actually like Waller a lot.
Okay.
Even regardless if the Patriots are make a massive emphasis on him, I still think that Waller will be he's almost like a receiver too. He's your boy. Hawkinson is great, and I still think that I think that Hawkinson will be a breakout tight end. But I think that Waller right now, I think I'd start him. But
okay.
Let's see. Oliver says any sleepers for FanDuel or DraftKings. Let's see.
Any big sleepers today?
Sleepers, huh?
I mean, I guess it depends on who's still a sleeper at this point of the season. Because last week you could have added people that were the backups for injured players, and then all of a sudden it's everybody's.
I have one for you. I have a good sleeper for you.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead.
This is a guy that I watched a lot of Red Zone last Sunday. I was watching a ton of Red Zone, like a sick fucker. Like I think I watched like 7 hours worth of it. It was disgusting. But one guy that I saw on the Cardinals, Andy Isabella. I've never heard of him prior to last week, but he looked fast, and he was returning punts where I saw him, and then he made a couple sweet catches. I'm looking right now. Two receptions, 67 yards. Pretty dope. The guy has blazing speed. He's a little white dude, but he looks good. Christian Kirk's out. You never know. That's a guy that if I was broke, I don't know. I'm not really sure how FanDuel. I kind of forgot. Like if you don't have like any money, you can get like someone like that. Like that's worth nothing. Andy Isabella, that's the next guy up. And you know what? You watch. He'll be a guy that's owned by like 15% next week rather than 0.6. That's my guy.
Okay. My guy, I'm going to go with Jordan Reed for San Francisco. I don't know what his DraftKings price would be right now, but he caught a touchdown last week for San Fran, and George Kittle is out again today. So Jordan Reed is the number one tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. He had 24 PPR points, 7 catches, 50 yards, 2 touchdowns last week for the Niners. Did Jordan Reed, and again, no George Kittle this week. He's out as well. So
I would
go Jordan Reed. That's my sleep. But I don't know how much. I don't know if DraftKings like accounts for that. And now all of a sudden it's he's a ridiculous price this week. Andy Isabella is like actually a deep sleeper. Good job there, Steve. What a pull.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think Jordan Reed is probably, I don't know, my sleeper, I guess you could say. So
Patrick Schofield says he's going to risk it and stick with Waller, half-point PPR, so you got to think about the volume of receptions. Yeah, I'm with you, Patrick. I'm thinking
yeah,
he'll get catches.
Yeah, if it's PPR, I don't think you can be wrong there. So
and how about Jake Morocco? Rolling with Jonnu. Let's go. Shout out.
Or, you know what? Another DraftKings sleeper for you. What about Damir Bird? All of a sudden, the new Patriots wide receiver, Cam Newton's like favorite target. All of a sudden, Damir Bird. Watch out for him. He hasn't caught a touchdown pass, but he hasn't been too bad. He had last week against the Seattle Seahawks, Damir Bird, 6 catches for 72 yards on 9 targets. He didn't have a single catch against Miami, but last week against Seattle, I mean, Cam was looking to him every single time. So Damir Bird, he could be a sneaky one.
Now, Oliver's saying here, my sleeper.
Oliver says T. Higgins.
Yeah. Oliver, please elaborate. Why is he a sleeper? Because I don't know. I don't know how much I see out of T. Higgins right now. Maybe I get slapped in the face with that one, but I don't know.
He was a hell of a talent at Clemson. Didn't see anything week 1 against the Chargers. Week 2 against the Browns, 3 catches on 6 targets for 35 yards. So, and going up against the Eagles today, Burrow's still very heavily looking at A.J. Green. That's that's kind of the difference, though, for me. At least in why I believe T. Higgins isn't quite there yet. And Tyler Boyd. Burrow's been looking at other guys. So, but John Ross is out, Oliver. I don't know. How much is John Ross really looked at?
Yeah, John Ross
during this
catch balls.
He's not. I don't think John Ross is really taking too many targets away from Higgins. It'd be more if A.J. Green or Tyler Boyd were out. Then all of a sudden I'm saying, yes, T. Higgins is the smart sleeper play because John Ross has 2 catches on 7 targets this year. So he had 2 targets against Cleveland last Thursday, no catches, 2 catches against the Chargers on 5 targets. I don't know. I know you love Cincy this week. Is that more just because they're going up against Philly, who sucks, or okay, if Higgins pops off, then good for you, Oliver. That's,
I'll think
congrats.
of a chin if he does. I have a question for you, Connor, and for anybody in the chat that wants to talk some shit. You taking T. Higgins or C.D. Lamb?
C.D. Lamb.
Yeah?
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
C.D. Lamb's been on fire. Yeah.
C.D. Lamb looks like the guy. He looks like he looks like he's going to be a freaking
I had a feeling.
playmaker.
Well, he's wearing number 88. That's a classic Cowboys number.
Yeah.
You can't suck while wearing number 88. Yeah, you got to go C.D. Lamb, I think, personally. That's an easy one. He had 100. He's put over 5 catches each time on plenty of targets. Dak obviously loves him. He was over 100 yards. He hasn't even scored a touchdown yet, and people are already like high on him. So, and it's against Seattle. Seattle's secondary we just saw not that good. So yeah, C.D. Lamb all day long.
How about C.D. versus Michael Gallup? I'm just spitballing here, but
still C.D. Gallup hasn't done anything from what I've seen. Carlos's God wants to know Todd Gurley or Henderson here, Steve. And we talked a bit here, Carlos, at the beginning of the show. We just don't love Rams running backs because it feels not so much by committee, but by start. McVay just chooses, okay, this week it's going to be Malcolm Brown, this week Henderson, and if Akers was still healthy, okay, this week it's Akers. It's just kind of like by the game plan, which guy does what best. I know Todd Gurley hasn't done anything really this year. He's just been blah. Yeah, I don't think he's really done anything for the Falcons as far as I can remember.
right.
But I still think I go Gurley here just because. I don't. Henderson could end up having like 2 carries, and
That's true.
or he could have 25. You just don't know. We don't know what the Rams are going to do. We don't. Everyone picked Malcolm Brown was a stud week 1. Everyone went out and picked him up, started him there in week 2, and then Henderson got all the touches in week 2. And Akers was going to have all the touches till he got hurt. So the Rams are just kind of you have no idea week to week the game plan. Gurley, at least he's the number 1 back. Maybe he gets a couple of touchdowns or something. So I'd go Gurley over Henderson.
Same here, 100% Gurley over Henderson. Just for this week, we'll see though. Maybe in the future, Henderson. Maybe this is the week he breaks out and they say this is his job.
Well, right. If Henderson is all of a sudden the guy again this week, then yes, Henderson's maybe your guy. So, yeah, I go with that. Jay Almighty wants to know, does he start Marcus Valdez-Scantling or Cooper Kupp at wide receiver 2? He has Sanders in his flex. Is that Emmanuel Sanders or Miles Sanders? I'm guessing Emmanuel since it's your flex. If it was Miles, that'd be what a flex position to have.
Flexing out. Like Juice WRLD.
Boy, that's a good one. Because Kupp is sort of just very reliable. He just kind of always is there. But Valdez-Scantling is Cooper Kupp has had plenty of targets and everything. He hasn't had a touchdown yet, but I don't know. That's a tough one because Valdez-Scantling. What's Devontae Adams this week? Is he playing?
I don't know. Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt. I was talking to Sosa about it. Yeah,
he's doubtful. Devontae Adams is doubtful. He's got a big fat D next to his name. So you know what? With that being the case, there, Jay Almighty, it is Miles Sanders. In your flex.
Good
so
for him,
okay,
dude.
wow,
what a team!
Well, geez, that's a hell of a flex, man. I don't know if it's a wide receiver question. You're kind of fine.
Yeah, just chill out.
Yeah, but I would kind of, you know what? I would maybe go for Valdez-Scantling here today if there's no Devontae Adams.
Yeah. You know what, dude? I haven't seen much from Kupp. I don't know anymore. I used to love Kupp back in the day, but yeah, today of all days, I'm going with Marquez. He's
Kupp is like his Goff's like third down guy.
Right.
He gets catches, but he doesn't score touchdowns. That used to be his thing. Like he would just somehow be a red zone threat. Whereas Marquez Valdez-Scantling so far this year, week 1 against Minnesota, 4 catches for 96 yards and a score on 6 targets. And then last week, 3 catches for 64 yards. Kind of a disappointment and no touchdowns in that regard, but he did have 7 targets. So Rodgers was certainly looking for him a lot.
Right.
My only worry is that without Devontae Adams against New Orleans, he gets Marshawn Lattimore lined up against him, which is going to be a very tough test. But Rodgers is going to be throwing to him. And if that's the Darren Waller argument that we're having all over again, then yeah, I think you go with Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, I'm going with Valdez-Scantling today. Maybe Kupp pops out. Kupp, you already know his ceiling. You know what? Rodgers is going to be depending on Marquez today, so let's go.
Yeah, I agree. You're exactly right. We already know what Kupp's ceiling is. So, yeah, I go with you on that one. Let's see. Jake wants to know, best wide receiver still wearing a number in the 80s. Is it Jarvis Landry? I don't know. CD Lamb's coming for that title. CD Lamb's better than Jarvis Landry, I would argue. This year, 2 weeks in.
Oh, yeah.
Overreaction.
Yeah, sure.
Big time overreaction.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other people in the 80s.
Isn't that funny? They've all just kind of dropped. I'm like trying to look through the top players here. And
what happened?
What about Calvin Ridley? Calvin Ridley.
Oh, okay.
Calvin Ridley. He's better than Jarvis Landry. Easily.
What happened to all the receivers were in the 80s? What the hell? That's bullshit.
I know that. Isn't that crazy? That's changed big time. Kenny Galladay, but he hasn't played yet. Yeah, so I'd go with Calvin Ridley. He's your best 80s wide receiver right now. Yeah, so because I don't know, Landry's Landry. We know what Landry is. The dude's like fast. He's quick. You know, he can make people miss, but he's just sort of a decent wide receiver. You know, he's not great. He's nothing that's like unbelievable.
I miss the days where I was scared of Jarvis Landry. I used to really like him. I think that he was a stud. But now he's just a guy. You know, he's a good guy. He's a good player.
Yeah. Hollywood
Brown or Edelman?
For this week?
Yeah.
Darren Murray. Thanks for tuning in. I am going with Hollywood Brown. I know he's that T.Y. Hilton, Tyreek Hill type guy, speedster that's very up and down week to week. But against the Chiefs, the Ravens might be in for a shootout. Hollywood Brown has gotten a ton of targets from Lamar Jackson. Outside the red zone, where obviously it's been David Andrews, Hollywood Brown has actually kind of been like Lamar Jackson's favorite target. Yeah. And if the Chiefs and Ravens get into a game where they're going up and down the field against each other, you're going to hate yourself if you don't start Hollywood Brown.
That's very true. That game could turn into a barn burner. We were talking about that earlier with Quags. That game, he was considering not starting Mahomes, or no, the Ravens defense against Mahomes or something. Yeah, I would not. That game could easily turn into a game where they're chucking the ball downfield a lot. And Hollywood Brown, aka Philly Brown in my world, because I fuck up that name a lot. He's a burner. That guy can run, and he's Lamar's favorite guy to throw deep to. So I would go Philly Hollywood all day, baby.
He's Philly Brown. He's had 6 targets in his first 2 games. Week 1, he had 5 catches for 100 yards. Week 2, 5 catches for 42 yards. So it is all kind of about like how big of plays he has, but obviously he's not just getting completely skunked every week. He's getting catches. They're just maybe not as big of plays, but that game could easily. And I think we've seen that the last couple of times the Chiefs and Ravens have met each other. It's been a shootout. So if it's Tyreek Hill against Marquise Brown, sit back and have fun. Start Marquise Brown. Plus with Edelman, we saw last week. Yes, Cam Newton had a great week. The Patriots offense had a great week because in the second half, eventually they were losing, and they said, "Cam, just go throw it around the yard and win the game for us." And I don't know if you see that again this week. I think you see a more conservative approach again out of the Patriots offense, just in the fact that they're going to be like, all right, let's try to run the ball again. Let's try to do this. Let's try to do that. I don't know if you see as big of a game from Newton and Edelman again this week. I think they try to get back to their balanced attack look compared to the passing. So
we got one: Chris Godwin versus Nikhil Harry.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Is Godwin playing this week? That's
wasn't he hurt?
Yeah, he's playing this week. He was hurt last week. He didn't play last week against Carolina. It was a concussion, nothing, soft muscle tissue injury, so he's going to be good to go. And he cleared that on Monday, so he has been practicing all week with Tampa Bay. And the Buccaneers are going up against, they're at Denver. So, okay, that kind of changes things for me here for you, Patrick, because Brady sucks in Denver. That's always been the case. It's just a house of horrors for him. God, I don't know, because obviously I'd go with Godwin. I go with Godwin just because we know what he can already do with Brady. I don't like that they're in Denver because Brady sucks in Denver, but I don't know. Like I said, they let Cam just kind of sling it around the park in the second half last week, which is where the last couple of drives is where Nikhil Harry saw a lot of his touches. If they don't let that happen again, I kind of go with Godwin. And if I'm wrong, you're pleasantly wrong, and start Nikhil next week, because then obviously Cam and Nikhil are on the same page with each other. But I kind of go with Godwin. And I know it's a new playbook. I know it's a new team, but I don't know. I just don't trust Tom Brady in Denver.
Yeah. I'm not fully on board with that. Yeah, I agree. Godwin. Just go with Godwin. Whatever.
Yeah, I say Godwin too. We know what the floor is. So, yeah. If Nikhil Harry has a great day on your bench, then you know that for the future. But Godwin's the safe right play right now in week 3. Trey S., thanks for tuning in. He wants to know full PPR, Gurley, Singletary, or Deontay Johnson. I think that's an easy one. Deontay Johnson all day, all night.
Yeah. It's got to be out of one of those guys. It's got to be Deontay.
Yep.
Yep. Singletary, absolutely hell nah. Hell to the fucking nah. Loser of the week, sucker. No thank you ever. Gurley's. I can see where there'd be a little bit of fluctuation with Gurley versus Deontay, but I still rock with Deontay in a full PPR.
Yep. I love Deontay Johnson. Huge fan, but and I'm pulling up his stats for you, just so you know, like we said, Gurley is not, what's Gurley done? Absolutely goddamn nothing, really. Whereas Deontay Johnson, week 1 against the Giants, 6 catches, 57 yards on 10 targets. Last week against Denver, 8 catches, 92 yards, a score on 13 targets. Like I said, when Big Ben drops back to throw, it's going to either Juju Smith-Schuster or Deontay Johnson. Rest easy starting Deontay Johnson over those two. I think he's a breakout star in the making, and he's as safe of an option as possible.
Yeah. It's the safest one out of that crew. For sure.
Darren Murray has another one here about wide receivers. Corey Davis or Desean Jackson here, Steve?
Corey Davis all day. No thanks to Desean. Corey Davis, I think, people have been saying he's going to break out and be the star for a while. I still don't see him being a full-fledged star at any point, really, anymore. I used to think so. But I kind of, for some strange reason, I still kind of trust Corey Davis. I don't know what my problem is, but I would take Corey Davis about 95% certainty because Carson Wentz is a joker at this point. So, yeah, I Corey Davis. How about you?
I'm with you on that one. Corey Davis, last week it would not have been a good week if he didn't score a touchdown. Only 3 catches for 36 yards. The touchdown made it a worthy start. Right. On only 5 targets, but like we talked about, Jonnu Smith kind of dominated last week's game. And then week 1 against Denver, 7 catches for 100 yards on 8 targets. So it's not like Corey Davis is completely out of the game plan. Is he the superstar that the Titans imagined when they drafted him out of, Western Michigan, Central Michigan? One of those MAC teams. I don't know. MAC is back, by the way, baby. Let's go.
Whatever that means.
But Corey Davis, he's still a big part of their offense. And compared to Desean Jackson, I just don't. I think you start Corey Davis over Desean.
Yeah.
So, like Steve said, until Carson Wentz shows us that he can actually throw a football,
yeah,
I don't know. Even though Desean, here's the redeeming thing about Desean Jackson. We've been shitting on him all day, but he does deserve something. He's had a lot of targets thrown his way. Carson Wentz is trying to get the ball to Desean Jackson.
Yeah.
In his first 2 games of the season, he has a total of 16 targets, and he's going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. I still lean Corey Davis, but now I can see why we're getting a lot of Desean Jackson questions because, I mean, Philadelphia is trying to get him the football, and it just hasn't quite happened yet. And they're going up against Cincinnati today. They went up against a very tough Rams defense last week. A tough defensive line for Washington in week 1. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence now, Steve, just because it's Cincinnati. I was wondering, why have we seen so many Desean Jackson questions
There's a lot
today?
of Desean, yeah.
There has been a lot of them, but I can see the reason why. Boy, I don't know, because Cincinnati, that defense is not good,
That's true.
And obviously, Desean Jackson has been Carson Wentz's top target basically this year. As bad as Carson Wentz has been, he's still been the number 1 wide receiver in Carson Wentz's eyes. So I don't know.
Now you got me second guessing, but I still would go with the Tannehill Corey Davis hookup. It's something the Titans are weird. I don't know. They figure things out. They got the Jonnu Smith thing. I like Corey Davis. I hated on Desean way too much to back down now. I have to double down. And you know what? If it goes wrong, blame your boy. You can yell at me all you want. But Desean, I don't know.
You know what? I'm going to say just because the other Desean Jackson questions have been not quite as close. Like I said, Pickle Rider, Ethan C. earlier asked about Desean or Robert Woods. And that was an easy one to me, Robert Woods. And I'd still say that now, knowing what, learning what I've learned. And I think there was another Desean one, but that was like OBJ, Juju. I'm going to say here, Darren, Desean Jackson. I'm going to go against what I've said all day. I'm going to go against Steve because Corey Davis is not the wide receiver number 1 in Ryan Tannehill's eyes. It's A.J. Brown and or Jonnu Smith. Davis is like, I think pretty much is like second, third look now. Whereas Desean Jackson, like we just said, he is the number 1 target for for Carson Wentz this year. I'm going to flip-flop here. I'm flipping-flopping.
Wow.
It's Desean Jackson. D-Jax this week against the terrible Cincinnati Bengals defense. I say it's Desean Jackson over Corey Davis.
That's a fine way to almost close out the show here because I know the games are starting soon.
Yep.
But,
I was going to say games are about to start, so yeah, that'll do it for us. But yeah, what a way to finish out our first live show there, Steve. I flip-flopped on Desean Jackson at the last second.
Wow, that just blew my damn mind. I can't go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to go down with the ship like Mark Wahlberg in The Perfect Storm. But yeah, Desean Jackson, no thank you, screw you. Carson Wentz, you can jam it too. I just dropped him like right now. I just dropped Carson Wentz in the Ultimate League. So as we speak, for Chase Claypool, by the way.
Yeah. No, that's not a bad choice. I was going to say that might have been my other sleeper for Oliver's DraftKings question. But,
yeah.
No, that does it for us this week. Thanks for everybody's questions. Thanks for tuning in. That was a great first live show, in my opinion.
It was. I liked it a lot.
Happy to do it with everybody. But we'll be back next week taking in your roster and lineup questions again. Stick around or make sure to subscribe to the Couch Guy Sports YouTube page as you have the BSB block list episodes coming out every week. You can catch the Couch Guy Sports podcast on there every week. And you can also, of course, catch us, Your Fantasy, Two Dudes Fake Balls, our weekly show on Thursdays. So subscribe to Couch Guy Sports. Hit that subscribe button, and you'll stay up to date on everybody. So, but thanks for tuning in. Thanks for everybody's questions. We appreciate it, and we will see you later.
Peace
I'm Connor Ryan. He's Steve. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Good luck.
Stream. Hold on. Nice.